Hi there. It is Oscar movie time with Richard. That's right. You have seen me list the Best Picture winners from the Oscars twice from memory, from 1967 to the present. If you've seen some of my previous videos, you have seen me do that. And I did a teaser not that long ago, where I did a teaser where I'm plan on listing the best pictures again from memory. But this time I plan on adding some facts about each movie. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm not going to list all of them and list the fact for all movies for 40 years from 67 to present, because that's just too much. That's a total information overload all in one shot for you guys. So I'm just going to do a few years at a time. I'll do like 10 years at a time, I guess. So for this recording, I'm going to do 1967 to 1977, which is appropriate seeing as that's the year that I was born, 1977. So I'm pretty old. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. So it is time. It is Oscar movie time with Richard. Okay, so we're going to start with the year 1967. 1967's Best Picture Oscar would go to In the Heat of the Night, which would win Best Picture in 67. It would not win Director, though. The directing Oscar that year went to Mike Nichols for The Graduate, which also had a lot of nominations that year. In the Heat of the Night would be the first movie in Oscar history to win Best Picture, and having the central character in the movie be a police officer. So it was like a detective mystery type movie, and it became the first Best Picture winner to feature a police officer as its central character. So that was In the Heat of the Night, Best Picture, 1967. 1968. 1968's Best Picture would go to Oliver, which would win Picture and Director. Sir Carol Reed was the director of that movie who won the Oscar. And basically it was just a film adaptation of the Charles Dickens classic Oliver Twist. So Oliver, Best Picture winner, 1968, won Director, Sir Carol Reed. 1969er, 1969. 1969's Best Picture would go to a film called Midnight Cowboy. Midnight Cowboy, starring Dustin Hoffman and Jon Voight. Both actors would be nominated for Best Actor for that year, but would lose to John Wayne for the movie called True Grit. So they both get nominated, but would not win the Best Actor award for Midnight Cowboy. Midnight Cowboy also was the first X-rated film, back in those times, first X-rated film to win a Best Picture Oscar. So those are some facts about Midnight Cowboy. Best Picture, 1969er. 1970. 1970's Best Picture winner would go to a movie called Patton. It would win Picture, would win Director. The director's name, Franklin Schaffner, was the director's name in the movie. And George C. Scott would win the Best Actor award, his first Oscar, for Patton. So again, Patton, 1970 Best Picture winner. 1971. 1971's Best Picture would go to a film called The French Connection. The French Connection, which would win Picture, would win Director. The director's name was William Friedkin, was the director's name. And it would win the Best Acting Oscar, which would go to Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman would win his first acting Oscar for The French Connection, 1971. French Connection also beat out the likes of A Clockwork Orange, which is one of my favorite movies. You may know that from some stuff I've been doing lately with that movie on my YouTube page. So yeah, one Picture, Director, Actor, Gene Hackman, and it's the French Connection was the first R-rated film to win Best Picture. Don't get him confused with Midnight Cowboy 2 years before. Midnight Cowboy was the first X-rated film to win Best Picture, and The French Connection was the first R-rated film to win Best Picture. So interesting facts for you there. And French Connection was also the second film to win Best Picture to feature a police officer as its central character. In The Heat of the Night, which I mentioned earlier, In The Heat of the Night, 1967 was the first film to win Best Picture to feature a police officer as its central character, and The French Connection would be the second. So The French Connection, Best Picture, 1971. 1972. 1972's Best Picture would go to just a little film called The Godfather. Won Best Picture in 1972. It would take picture. It would not win director, though. Francis Ford Coppola would not win director that year. He would lose out to the director of Cabaret that year, which Cabaret actually set a record in 1972 for the most Oscar wins, with 8, without winning Best Picture. So the same year The Godfather won Best Picture in 1972, Cabaret pretty much took everything else. All the big ones, I guess. It took 8 Oscars, but did not win Best Picture, and that was a record set that year. So no director Oscar for Francis Ford Coppola, but Godfather would win Best Picture, and Marlon Brando would win his second Best Actor Oscar in The Godfather. So Marlon Brando did win Best Actor for The Godfather in 1972, and would win Best Picture as well. 1973's Best Picture would go to a movie called The Sting. The Sting, which would win picture and director. It would beat out the likes of The Exorcist and American Graffiti, which were both up for Best Picture that year as well. The Sting would it would also reunite Robert Redford and Paul. Can you hear that music? Can you hear that? I'm not sure you can hear it. It's an ice cream truck outside, and the song is kind of appropriate for what I'm talking about. The Sting, which had, I don't know if the music was similar, but anyways, for some reason it reminds me of The Sting. There's a truck. Oh yeah. Anyways, 1973, The Sting, picture, director, beat out American Graffiti and Exorcist, and The Sting reunited Robert Redford and Paul Newman, who were together a few years prior in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which was a big hit in 1969. So The Sting would reunite Redford and Paul Newman for The Sting, which would win Best Picture 1973.
Change what you call rage. Tear this mother